believe it or not, houses like these exist in real life. Who hasn't dreamed of living in the home of their favorite cartoon characters? Well, today, you're going to see each one of these houses. Curious to explore them? Then join us, and let's go. Number 13. The House from Up. Let's start with a Pixar classic. Who hasn't dreamed of tying thousands of balloons to their house and flying away? Well, Killjoy scientists inform us that it would take several million helium balloons to lift a regular house in real life. But don't let that ruin your dreams. In 2011, the team at Bangor Builders brought a bit of that magic to the real world by building a grounded replica of Carl's house in Harriman, Utah. While it lacks the balloons, the house is nearly an exact replica of the Pixar version, with its colorful facade, hand-painted mural in the living room, and even Carl and Ellie's personalized mailbox in the yard. This house is a Pixar fan's dream come true. In fact, in 2012, Pixar enthusiast Lynette Hamblin bought the property for $399,000 and moved in with her family. Lynette turned her dream home into a business opportunity, offering paid tours to other Disney fans. Over the last 11 years, her family has hosted countless photo shoots and even marriage proposals on the property. And if they ever get tired of all the visitors, well, they can always tie a few million balloons to the chimney and head off to Paradise Falls. Number 12. The Robinsons' Treehouse. Remember Disney's Meet the Robinsons? The Robinsons' Treehouse was a true playground of wacky inventions and innovative design. While it might seem impossible to recreate something so fantastical in real life, some enthusiasts accepted the challenge. In Crossville, Tennessee, Minister Horace Burgess spent 11 years building what he called the world's largest treehouse. Inspired by the Robinsons' house, this 10-story, 97-foot-tall structure was built around an 80-foot-tall white oak using reclaimed and recycled wood. The house boasted 80 rooms, including a third-floor sanctuary that could hold 50 people. While it didn't have the transport tubes or wacky robots from the movie, Burgess's treehouse had its own unique charm. Unfortunately, due to safety concerns, the treehouse was closed to the public in 2012 and later demolished in 2019. But for a time, it allowed visitors to experience a bit of the magic and creativity that made the Robinsons' home so memorable. I have a question for you. First, I'd like to tell you that it's possible to keep up with the biggest curiosities of our world every day. But for that, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So have you subscribed yet? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Now that you've done that, let's go. Number 10. The Flintstones' house, Yabba Dabba Doo. Who wouldn't want to live like Fred and Wilma Flintstone in a stone house with all the modern comforts of the Stone Age? Well, now you can. In Hillsborough, California, there's a full-sized replica of the famous Flintstones house. Locally known as the Flintstone House, this unique residence was built in 1976 using a technique called shotcrete over steel mesh and pipes. The result is an organic, bulbous structure that looks like it was carved directly from a giant rock. With its rounded shapes and porthole-like windows, the house perfectly captures the aesthetic of bedrock. The interior is just as impressive, with curved walls, vaulted ceilings, and even a fireplace that looks like it was dug out of rock. The current owner, Florence Fang, took the Flintstones theme even further, adding dinosaur statues and other prehistoric characters to the garden. Interestingly, the house has been a source of local controversy, with some neighbors complaining that it doesn't fit the neighborhood's aesthetic, as if a Stone Age house could fit in anywhere. But for Flintstones fans, it's a dream come true. And best of all, unlike Fred, you don't need to pedal with your feet to get the car moving. Though on second thought, that might be a great way to exercise. Number 9. The Ice King's Castle. This one's for Adventure Time fans. During the 2016 Burning Man, a group of artists known as the Ice King Collective created a life-sized replica of the iconic castle. Built with translucent panels and LED lighting, the structure glowed with an ethereal blue against the desert backdrop, creating a surreal contrast. Inside, the castle was an interactive playground, featuring ice slides, a throne room, and even a dungeon filled with plush penguins. Visitors could explore the various levels of the castle, take photos on the Ice King's throne, and even participate in mathematical rap battles inspired by the show. Although this version of the Ice King's castle was temporary, after all, the ice would melt quickly in the desert heat, it provided fans with a unique experience of entering the world of Adventure Time. And who knows, maybe one day we'll see a permanent version in a more suitable climate. Number 8. SpongeBob, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants. And now you can too. Well, almost. There are actually two versions of SpongeBob's iconic pineapple home that you can visit in real life. The first, known as the Big Pineapple, is a roadside attraction in Queensland, Australia. Standing an impressive 52 feet tall, this giant pineapple sculpture was built in 1971, long before SpongeBob made his TV debut. While you can't live inside it, unless you're a sea sponge, you can climb to the top and enjoy a panoramic view worthy of Bikini Bottom. But if you really want to dive into the SpongeBob experience, you need to visit Pineapple Villa in the Dominican Republic. Part of Nickelodeon Hotels and Resorts, this luxury villa is a faithful replica of SpongeBob's underwater home. At 2,300 square feet, it features all the furniture and decor you see in the show, along with 2 spacious suites and a private pool. Of course, living like SpongeBob comes at a price. A night in this pineapple paradise costs around $3,800. Maybe it's time to ask Mr. Krabs for a raise. Number 7. Snow White's Cottage. When we talk about Disney, we can't forget one of the most iconic houses from fairy tales, Snow White's Cottage and the Seven Dwarfs. In the 1937 film, Snow White finds refuge in this charming house, spending her days cleaning for her dwarf friends and singing to forest animals. It's no surprise that many people have tried to recreate this idyllic retreat in real life. After all, who wouldn't want to wake up to birds singing in a cozy little house in the woods? One of the most famous recreations is located in Olalla, Washington. Known as Snow White's Cottage, this 2,800 square foot property looks like it came straight out of a storybook. With its wavy roof, arched windows, and rustic wooden doors, the house perfectly captures the charm of the original cottage from the film. The interior is just as magical, featuring exposed wooden beams, a stone fireplace, and even a spiral staircase leading to the dwarf's room in the attic. The owners paid close attention to detail, including mushroom-shaped door handles and light fixtures resembling mining lanterns. The best part? This fairy tale house isn't just for admiring from afar. The owners occasionally make it available for rent, allowing visitors to live out their own Snow White adventure. Magic mirrors and poisoned apples thankfully not included. Number 6. Squidward's House. Who would have thought we'd one day see Squidward's grumpy house in upstate New York? Well, in 2020, an internet user named Venus Marmalade was driving through Palatine Bridge when she stumbled upon a life-sized replica of the iconic home of SpongeBob's grouchy neighbor. Standing 15 feet tall, this bright blue Easter Island head sticks out like a sore thumb in the American landscape, grabbing the attention of anyone who passes by. Built by Charlie Nugent, the structure is more of a sculpture than a livable house, with no furniture or insulation. But who's gonna break that news to Squidward's diehard fans? Better to let them dream about playing the clarinet in their own Moai house. Number 5. Dexter's Laboratory. Dexter's Laboratory was one of the most popular cartoons of the 90s, and Dexter's secret lab, hidden behind a bookshelf in his room, was every aspiring scientist's dream. While no one has built a multi-story secret lab in their house yet, there are some impressive recreations of Dexter's workspace. The Museum of Science in Boston, for example, created a temporary exhibit inspired by Dexter's lab as part of its Cartoon Network, the Exhibit series. The exhibit included replicas of Dexter's famous computers, bubbling test tubes, and even an interactive molecular disassembler. Number 4. The Krusty Krab. Speaking of Mr. Krabs, how about stopping for a Krabby Patty? In 2014, a group of restaurateurs decided to bring the famous Krusty Krab to life by building a replica of the restaurant in Ramallah, Palestine. Just like in the show, the establishment is shaped like a giant wooden crab trap, decorated with nautical flags and window nets. Inside, you'll find all the show's maritime furnishings, including tables made from ship wheels and counters inspired by rowboats. The menu, of course, is all themed, offering seaweed juice, seafood salad, and naturally, the famous Krabby Patty. But don't get too excited. The secret ingredient remains, well, a secret. Number 3. The Simpsons House. Imagine being able to drink an authentic Duff beer in the Simpsons living room. In 1997, this dream almost became a reality when Pepsi, Fox, and the construction company Kaufman and Broad joined forces to build a perfect replica of the most famous house in Springfield. Located in Henderson, Nevada, the residence at 742 Evergreen Terrace was constructed with meticulous attention to detail. Architects watched over 100 episodes to ensure that every element was faithfully reproduced. From the corn curtains to the more than 1,500 pieces of themed decor, everything was designed to transport visitors directly into the yellow world of The Simpsons. The project was part of a Pepsi promotion, offering a chance to win the house, valued at $150,000. Interestingly, the winner, Barbara Howard, a 63-year-old worker from Kentucky, opted to receive $75,000 in cash instead of the house. Perhaps she reconsidered dealing with a neighbor like Ned Flanders. Unfortunately, in 2001, the house was sold and stripped of all its Simpsons-themed character, becoming just another ordinary residence. Number 2, the Jetsons house. If you grew up watching the Jetsons, you probably dreamed of living in a futuristic apartment suspended in the clouds. Well, there's a real-life house that served as inspiration for the most famous family home of 2062. The Jetsons debuted in 1962, transporting viewers to a world full of technological wonders. The design of the Jetsons house wasn't as fictional as we thought. In fact, the creators of the show were inspired by a real building from the 60s, the Chemosphere, located in Los Angeles. At first glance, the Chemosphere looks more like a spaceship perched on a column than a residence. Standing tall over the Hollywood Hills, this modernist house rests on a 30-foot-high pillar. Designed by aerospace engineer Leonard Malin in 1960, the building quickly became an architectural icon of Los Angeles. The innovative design of the Chemosphere, with its octagonal shape and elevated structure, must have seemed incredibly futuristic to the creators of the Jetsons, who saw its potential to imagine what homes would look like 100 years later, and they nailed it. Today, the Chemosphere remains a modern architectural landmark and was even declared an official historical cultural monument of Los Angeles in 2004. So, if you dream of living like the Jetsons, you don't need to wait until 2062 or build a rocket to travel through time. Just take the I-10 highway, get ready to face LA's infamous traffic, and swing by the Hollywood Hills. Who knows, you might catch a glimpse of this house that proved the future is sometimes closer than we think. Number 1. Minnie Mouse. Among enchanted castles and haunted mansions, one of the most adorable examples of cartoons coming to life in the park is the life-size version of Minnie Mouse's house. The replica of Minnie's house is a perfect example of how Disney takes the immersion of its visitors into the magical world of cartoons seriously. Every detail, from the furniture to the decorative objects, has been carefully planned to make you feel like you're truly visiting the home of one of the most beloved animated characters. If you could choose, which one of these crazy houses would you live in? Well, see that video popping up on your screen right now? Check it out, I picked it just for you. That's all for now, and until next time, Curious One.